Something shifted the moment that promotional video landed online. Not with a dramatic announcement or a flashy press conference, but with a quiet walk down a familiar corridor. Ben Shephard hanging a photograph of Cat Deeley on the wall. The picture coming to life. That signature wink. And suddenly, after months of rotating faces and careful uncertainty, this morning felt like it had found its next chapter. You could almost sense the collective exhale across living rooms. For so long the sofa had carried the weight of change. The departures of Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby had left a space that felt larger than any single pair of presenters. Guest hosts had stepped in with warmth and professionalism, yet the question lingered in the background of every episode: who would become the steady presence again? Who would make the show feel like home once more? When ITV confirmed Cat Deeley and Ben Shephard as the regular Monday to Thursday hosts, it landed with a particular kind of emotional recognition. Not shock. Not controversy. Something closer to quiet rightness. Many viewers had already seen both of them in the chair during those transitional months. They had watched the way Ben's easy warmth from years on Good Morning Britain translated into the daytime rhythm. They had noticed Kat's ability to make a studio feel intimate, as if she were chatting with friends rather than broadcasting to the nation. The chemistry wasn't forced into existence by the announcement. It had already begun to form in those earlier appearances, and the official confirmation simply gave it permanence. There is something revealing about the way the news was delivered. No grand claims. No insistence that this was the perfect pairing. Just Ben's words about it feeling like a special moment, and Cat describing this morning as a national institution that still felt like having friends over. Funny, smart, silly, heartfelt. The language itself was careful, almost protective. They both seemed to understand the responsibility of stepping into a show that viewers treat less like television and more like a daily companion. What stayed with many people was the sense of continuity without repetition. Alison Hammond and Dermot O'Leary remaining on Fridays offered a familiar anchor. The Monday to Thursday structure with Cat and Ben suggested a new rhythm rather than an attempt to recreate the past. For audiences who had lived through the turbulence of the previous year, that balance mattered. It suggested the program was choosing steadiness over reinvention for its own sake. Some watching online immediately began to wonder about the subtler dynamics. How two people who had largely built their careers in different television worlds would settle into the long, unpredictable stretches of live daytime. Cat's years in America. Ben's decade of early mornings. The shared understanding that this morning belongs to its viewers more than to any presenter. Others simply felt relief that the sofa finally had names attached again. After months of who's hosting tomorrow, the certainty itself carried emotional weight. There was also the quiet recognition of what the moment represented for British daytime television. This morning has always been more than a magazine show. It is a space where the national mood can surface between celebrity interviews and consumer advice. Choosing hosts who already carried affection from audiences felt like an acknowledgement of that relationship. The program wasn't chasing novelty. It was choosing familiarity with room to grow. Of course, no pairing is instantly seamless. Early episodes would inevitably be watched with extra scrutiny. Would the banter feel natural? Would the heavier conversations find the right tone? Those questions lived in the comments and conversations that followed the announcement. Yet the dominant feeling was not skepticism. It was cautious hope. The hope that two experienced presenters, both clearly fond of the show, might help restore a sense of ease that many viewers had missed. Looking back at that promotional corridor walk now, it feels almost symbolic. Ben placing Cat's photograph. The image coming to life. A simple visual statement that something new was beginning, but inside a space everyone already recognized. That may be why the confirmation resonated so strongly. It didn't pretend the past had never happened. It simply offered the next page, written by people who understood the weight of the book. And perhaps that is what lingered longest for those who care about this kind of television. Not the headlines, not the speculation about ratings or contracts, but the quieter sense that the sofa might once again feel like a place where mornings could begin with warmth rather than uncertainty. Moments like this rarely arrive with fanfare. They arrive with a photograph on a wall and a shared understanding that the show, and its audience, are ready to move forward together. What did you notice when the news first broke? Did the pairing already feel familiar from their earlier appearances, or did the official confirmation change how you saw them? Share your thoughts. The conversation around this morning has always belonged as much to the viewers as to the people on screen.